Teaching 112. I am the food for the spirit, I am the possessor of everything you need, I am the light on your path of evolution. I want you to know me. Once I was among you as a man, today I come in spirit to show you that I am truly in my children and that I can speak through their understanding. Tomorrow it will only be the light of my inspiration that reaches your spirit, but in each of the forms that I take to speak to you, there will always be a new lesson and a new phase that my spirit shows you so that you know me better. From age to age, men have a clearer idea of me. Those who have known me through Christ have a concept closer to the truth than those who only know me through the laws of Moses. That God whom the multitudes followed and obeyed for fear of his justice, was later sought as Father and Master, when the seed of Christ's love germinated in their hearts. Truly I tell you that I do not send you pain. Have you seen with what love the gardener cultivates his garden? For you are to me like an immense garden, in which I contemplate you like lilies, roses, or lilies. But if your corollas close for the dew of my love, it is natural that you feel weak when the winds whip you. Why then do you think that it is I who punishes you? It is a mistake to attribute to me the cause of your suffering and bitterness, because a father only wants happiness for his children. When you understand your lack of harmony with what has been created and with my laws, you will regret having blamed me for your vicissitudes, and you will know that it was you who created the pain. In the past times, when humanity still did not reach the knowledge of the true God, it saw in each element of nature a divinity. For this reason, when these forces were unleashed, men said that they were revenge of their gods, without realizing that they, due to their sins, could not be saved from the effect of the unleashed elements. Some of those beliefs you still hold, because when you see or know of earthquakes, storms or plagues that hit towns, cities or nations, you exclaim, "It is God's punishment." I have come to reveal to you at this time that man has power over the elements, a power that you had not discovered until today. I have taught you that whoever prays and lives in harmony with my laws can be obeyed by the elements and listened to by nature. Does it seem strange to you? Remember how Jesus, among his lessons, gave you the one to submit nature to his command. Do not forget that when the Master, along with his disciples, sailed in a boat on the Sea of Galilee, it suddenly became rough. He, seeing the fear in his apostles, extending his hand ordered the waters to calm down, and they instantly, like meek servants, obeyed. Truly I tell you, there is still much you have to study and analyze about those examples, to understand my new teachings. Until you have confidence in my words, so that in compliance with my law, in the difficult moments of your life you testify to the power of faith. How much your heart has rejoiced, when in one of these tests you have prayed and have touched my truth. With faith, with spirituality and humility you will achieve true prayer, which will prevent you from continuing to be the victims of the vicissitudes of the earth, because living in harmony with the laws that govern your life, everything that surrounds you will be at your service. Keep in mind my lessons that I deliver to you with so much love through human understanding. My ray, landing on the mind of the spokesman, becomes a word, without losing its divine meaning. This light, which in a figurative sense I announce to you in the second era, is the beacon that will guide the spirits towards the port of salvation. I have humanized my inspiration so that, listening to me, you understand the contents of my revelations and the way to put my teachings into practice. Tomorrow, when this communication that I have had with you ceases, my light will continue to illuminate the spirit of humanity. If at that time, the blood of the Son of God was shed for all, now it will be the light of my spirit that descends on all flesh and on all spirit. In the depths of each being the ringing of a bell is heard that does not allow you to fall into sleep. It is my voice that calls you and invites you to prayer, reflection and meditation. Some stop at that call and straighten their steps towards it, others resist that voice, interposing the hardness of their matter, so that while some rush to awaken to true life, others are late. How many of you who have had the grace to listen to my word have told me in your heart, "Lord, why did you take so long to return to the world?" To which I tell you, for me, all that time has only represented an instant. Since I told you my last word on Calvary, until the day I gave you my first lecture in this era, I can tell you that the time that has elapsed has not passed for me. The space between my departure at that time and my arrival at this time was so fleeting that I compare it to the light of lightning that shines in the east, to hide in the west. At times men judge themselves so unworthy of me, that they do not conceive that I can love them so much, and once resigned to living away from their Father, they build a life according to their own idea, create their laws and make their religions. That is why their surprise is great when they see me arrive. So they wonder. Does our Father really love us so much that he looks for a way to communicate with us? Humanity, I only know how to tell you that what is mine I will not let it lose, and you are mine. I love you since before you were, and I will love you forever. If you have been slow to return to me and have encountered many vicissitudes in your path, that does not mean that my love has diminished because of your sins. It is that my voice, through your conscience, has always been inviting you to reach me along the path of truth. I am the eternally open door, which invites you to enter the sanctuary, there where your inheritance is. My doctrine has come to teach you to turn faults into good deeds. Be certain that whoever takes up the cross of his Lord to follow him soon feels the elevation of his spirit. This is not my last teaching that has come to illuminate the third era. The spiritual has no end. My law is always shining like a divine sun in all consciences. Stagnation or decadence is only characteristic of humans, and it is always the result of vices, weaknesses, or unbridled passions. When humanity builds its life on spiritual foundations and bears within itself the ideal of eternity that my doctrine inspires in you, it will have found the path of progress and perfection, and will never again stray from the path of its evolution. If I gave your spirit a grain to sow, you will have to return 100 to me. Have you not seen the multiplication of the seeds of the earth? Imitate them. I only made one seed of each species, and look how they have reproduced endlessly. Beloved children, do you think it was necessary for me to return to the world to shed my blood again to make you understand my love? No, that test is no longer necessary, since now it will be enough for you to pray and meditate for a few moments each day, so that my light gently penetrates your spirit. That light will be that of the Master. It will be my voice that will come to reveal to you many teachings that you ignore, but that you need to know, so that few live fully in the third era, the time of light and spirituality. In that second era, the multitudes looked for me more as a doctor than as a master, because men have always believed that the pain of the body is greater than that of the spirit. Jesus was accommodating and let the sick come to him. He knew that pain was the path that drew men to the light of his word. When the blind saw again, and the lepers were cleansed, when the paralytics left their beds and the possessed were freed from their influences and obsessions, they were living testimonies that Jesus was the doctor of doctors. For a long time men sought me like this, even though I was no longer with them in the world. But now, when a doctor comes to your sickbed and you place all your faith in him and trust his science with your life, you forget that the lives of both depend on me. You forget at that moment to pray before your Father to request from him the light on the man of science and the balm on your ailment. That bedroom, instead of being filled with light and saturated with strength and hope, remains sad and gloomy due to a lack of spirituality. When will you seek me again with that faith, with which the sick approached me in the second era? It is necessary that I tell you that I am thirsty for your faith, and that when you place your trust in me, you will become worthy of the great wonders that I have reserved for you. I do not know men of science, since the mission they carry out has been given to them by me, but many of them have lacked prayer, charity, and elevation of spirit to be the true doctors of humanity. I will also speak to them, but my voice will be of justice when they see my disciples healing by spiritual means the diseases that science has not been able to cure, and when men heal each other through their spiritual gift, the materialists will open their eyes to that revelation and say, certainly, beyond our science there is a wisdom and a power superior to ours. To you, people, I tell you not to forget this divine gift, since through it you will make light in the spirits, you will bring comfort to those who suffer, and you will convert many, by saving them from their afflictions. Pain is a path that leads men to the source of health that I am, but keep in mind that I have given you a drop of my balm so that you can use it whenever someone knocks on your doors. Watch and pray so that this call always finds you ready. Disciples of the third era, I truly tell you that because you have received my new revelations, you will be the ones who duly and fairly interpret the content of the teachings of past times. Everything that was revealed in them has a divine meaning, although it seems to you that on some occasions they are talking about human life. Seek their essence and you will find that they are always showing you the spiritual life. Do not dwell too much on analyzing the letters, which are superficial, because it can lead you to confusion. Penetrate the meaning of the words and there you will find the truth. See that your analysis is simple, as is my word, and do not complicate what is clear, pure, and natural. Prayer and meditation is what is required for the study of the divine lessons. Whoever seeks my light in this way, I truly tell you that he will soon find it. I have already taught you that with prayer one acquires wisdom. The disciple who analyzes my word in this way and consults his master in this way, will be the one who always hits the truth and is never confused. The day will come when your sensitivity to the spiritual will make you easily discover the essence that contains every word that has come from me. My kingdom is not of this world, I told you in the second era, therefore, I speak to you of the spiritual kingdom. I am the way, I also told you, making you understand that I came to prepare the path that will take you to dwell with me in the heavenly mansion. For human life, the law that I gave you through Moses was enough, but in order to live eternal life it was necessary for the word of God to be with you, so that he would prepare for you the way to the true paradise. But like the road to the lofty abodes of light, of perfection and of love, it has crossroads, pitfalls and temptations. It was necessary for a star to appear on the path of the traveler, a beacon, a ray of light to illuminate his steps. That light is that of my Spirit, which has come to you to dispel doubts, ignorance and uncertainties. See how, from the time when you were governed by natural law, that is, by the dictates of conscience, until this time when you receive spiritual light through inspiration, I have made you known, step by step, the path of the Spirit. This inspiration is the fruit of a long evolution in which you cannot stop, and which will give you the necessary perfection so that you can reap the best fruits. Today I tell you, welcome, tireless walkers on the path of perfection, come to me, all of you who are hungry or thirsty in the Spirit, because everyone who knows how to take this word and extract its essence from it will find peace. I bless the one who has taken the path calmly and firmly, because he will not stumble. I enlighten you so that you conduct yourselves as good disciples of my doctrine. The time I have assigned for the end of this communication in this era will be 1950, just for your preparation, because if my word fails you before the day appointed for its end, many of you will weaken and others will return to your ancient traditions. Your destiny has been traced with utmost perfection, and the evidence you find is reason for you to raise your spirits and love me. When in your life you have only had satisfaction and abundance of material goods, you have stopped on the spiritual path and you have separated from me, but now I have entrusted you with a new opportunity to fulfill your mission. However, do not forget that your existence on earth is only a moment in the midst of eternity, and that if you miss that moment, you will wake up in the afterlife and contemplate the delay and the lack of light in your spirit. A painful awakening will be for the spirit when it realizes the cost of its poverty and nakedness due to lack of fulfillment, and it will have to mourn the lost time, until it purifies itself. Yes, disciples, it will be necessary then to go through the expiation, to silence the call of the conscience and to say no to continue its evolution. Always walk the path of the law and it will protect you. How few are my disciples and how numerous is mankind. But I strengthen those who have known how to take on this position and this responsibility, because they are willing to get up to so when I order them to. By then they will have the meekness of the servant and the strength of the apostle. When my word is no longer heard as it is now, nor do I give you the warning voice when the enemy approaches, and the turbid waters want to contaminate the crystalline source that I have entrusted to you, you will resort to prayer, and your conscience will tell you what you must do. In the light of consciousness I am and will be present. You already know the flavor of the fruit of the tree, and I warn you so that tomorrow you do not allow yourselves to be surprised by false prophets, but you will also watch over your brothers, teaching them to distinguish the essence of my doctrine. It is written that after my departure false prophets will appear and that they will arrive telling my people that they are my messengers and that they come in my name to continue the work that I carried out among you. Woe to you if you bow down before false prophets and false teachers, or if you mix meaningless words with my doctrine, because there will be great confusion. That's why I tell you often. Watch and pray. I have subjected man to 2 laws, and it is my will that you, my servants, comply with both, so that, unified spirit and matter, you may perform works of perfection in your life. In each of my laws I have poured my wisdom and perfection. Comply with both, that they will lead you to me. You do not want to live on earth as if you were already in spirit, because you would fall into fanaticism, which is false spirituality. This would make your body sick and you would go to the grave before your time, without having finished your mission. Understand then that the spirit was endowed with a superior intelligence to be a guide and teacher of matter. Today you inhabit this valley of struggle and pain, in which the tests tell you at every moment that this home is temporary, but that everything that you have not achieved in the present, you will possess tomorrow. Peace and joy, which in the world only last for an instant, in the spiritual mansion are imperishable. That is why I invite you to the kingdom of eternal peace and endless satisfaction. Prepare the great trip, I wait for you. Learn to listen to the voice of your conscience and you will hear my voice speaking to your heart. That inner voice is that of your Father, always sweet, encouraging and convincing. Today I have crossed your path and you have received me with joy in your spirit. The meeting between the Master and the future disciples has been happy. Sects prepare and talk about my next coming, however, when I approach them spiritually, they do not feel me, because they lack sensitivity and because they are unbelievers. I tell my people that in this time great men, sages and priests, will recognize me and feel me in the form that I have chosen to manifest myself to humanity in this era. I will choose from among them those who will serve me, because after preparing them I am going to send them to preach about my revelations and teachings of this time. I have called you to my table of love, in it you have tasted the divine delicacy, the bread and wine of the Spirit. Ah, if all of you understood what the hunger of the Spirit is, with how much love you would look for the hungry. This moment is of remembrance for you, my new disciples, not so for me, who is the eternal presence. My passion and my sacrifice are recent, my blood is still fresh. But you, who are passengers on earth and who in eternity are like atoms, remember and relive it as something distant, the passion that your Master bequeathed to you as the greatest testament of love. Listen to me and study, so you can love my teachings, serve your brothers and perfect yourselves in spirit. If you aspire to be teachers among humanity, you only have to imitate Jesus. Listening to me, you will stop being ignorant children, who ask everything because they know nothing, and you will become the disciples who, by unfolding their lips to speak of my teaching, will feel inspired by my spirit. Before the questions of humanity, your word will be the light that will set fire to a torch of faith in each heart. I am the way, the truth and the life, and that is why I come to you to pour my love into the chalice on this table, so that you may drink from it until your thirst is quenched. I do not come to save a few, but every spirit in need of light, but I do come to prepare some, so that they can save others and those save others. The nations are afflicted, burdened and sick. They no longer expect from science or human power the solution to their miseries and bitterness. The men begin to believe that only a miracle can save them. Many of them know that the prophets of the first era announced my new coming. Many of them know that what is happening in the world corresponds to the signs predicted for the time of my coming and my presence among you. Soon everyone will know that the third era has arrived and that I have manifested myself as announced, that I came on the cloud, that is, in spirit, to send my word, as a ray of light on the understanding of my chosen ones, but, through whom will humanity receive the good news and the testimonies of what I have said and done among you? By whom should it be, if not through those who have listened to me? Here is the table, sit at it, raise your spirits and feel my presence, feel it not only with the spirit but also with the matter. If you truly spiritualize yourselves you will tremble at the contact of my light. When you rise, live for a few moments in the spiritual realm, so that in that hour I receive you on behalf of humanity, and in you bless the peoples, comfort the sad, the sick, those who suffer in loneliness. See that there are now more widows and orphans than ever in your world. In you, who are praying, I receive all races, all peoples, religions and sects, because you have drunk the wine of eternal life. I pour out my essence on every spirit so that there is not a single one of my children who in these moments suffers hunger or thirst for justice. Before the sin of the world it is necessary that the light of my spirit reaches you. If at that time, you made blood, sweat and tears flow from my body, now you will make the Master shed light on the pain, perversity and darkness of men. There is much pain and sin that covers the nations like a blanket of sadness. But now that you cannot see me cry or bleed, you will feel on your spirit the inexhaustible torrent of my forgiveness, my love and my light. This is my new blood that I shed on humanity today. In these instants your spirit enjoys itself in the regions to which it has been able to rise in this communion with me, but do not forget that it was Elijah, the spiritual shepherd, who came to prepare you and lead you before me, so that you might receive the word of your Master, as well as the tender caress of Mary, your celestial mother, whose spirit is always present in me. I want to leave peace in your heart, because later there will be moments of sadness and fear. Get ready because you don't know what tomorrow holds for you. Remember that I have told you that false prophets and false spiritualists will appear. Keep in mind that I have always been warning you about these tests, telling you that my communication, which I began through the understanding of Damiana Oviedo, will last until 1950, and that after that year I will no longer manifest myself in this way. I have told you many times that after that day, I will pour out my spirit through your gifts, but if, after this period indicated by my will, you would like the word of the spokesman not to cease in some precincts, while in others they no longer had these manifestations, woe to those who profane my mandates and try to go over my will. I do not want you to be responsible for such serious faults, but, so that you do not fall into temptation, you will fight for your unification, so that when the last day of my communication arrives, you all hear that the Master's goodbye through the spokesman is definitive, and that it will not be only for a precinct or for a congregation, but for all the people. Prepare yourselves, because I will call on ministers of religions, leaders and rulers to listen to my last words. I tell you again, prepare yourselves, so that in this time a great multitude will witness my departure. I will pour strength over your spirit, so that you do not feel my absence, because in reality I will not be absent. Your gratitude as disciples will be put to the test. Since I came to you through the path of the Spirit, you will have to come to me through that same path. The speaker's mission will end on the day set by me, but their understanding will remain open to inspiration and to all the gifts, as well as that of the farmer and the guide and of all those who comply with my law of love. I must tell you that the gift of speech will also be unleashed among you, and you will know how to speak about my work with men who speak other languages. To all of you who hear me on this day I will hold you responsible for my word, because you are the people whom I found lost from the path, but who found the path again in my word. He who arrived poor and sobbing, today knows peace. Among you are those who came as outcasts and now sit at my table. Among the gathering are those who were blind and now see the light. There are also those who ignorant of the word of love and charity and who today, already converted, are my servants. There are those who were deaf, who did not listen to the voice of conscience, but who have recovered that gift, listening to the time of the Supreme Judge and have learned to hear the complaint of those who suffer. I discover among these groups the adulterous woman and also the repentant sinner, both accused and singled out by those who often sin more than they do, but I forgive them and tell them not to sin again. O people, if you knew how to keep all my words in your heart, how rich you would be in the treasures of the Spirit, how strong and enlightened, but your memory and your heart is fragile. Let my word and its essence, which are the symbol of my body and my blood, and which are the image of the bread and wine that I offer to my disciples at the Last Supper, penetrate your spirit on this latter invocation. Eat the bread of life, eat for all humanity in this era of pain, restitution and purification. While you are savoring this food, think that at the same time millions of beings drain a very bitter chalice, and that many of your brothers, instead of drinking the wine of my love, are shedding the blood of their fellow men in the fields of war. You are sitting at my table, and I don't want any of you to have any regrets, feel unworthy to be here, or feel the urge to leave your seat and walk away from this meeting. Certainly at that time there was among my disciples one who conspired against his master, who, hearing my last recommendations and the last words of my testament of love, could not remain in my presence and left the cenacle. It is that in his bag he already had the coins for which he had sold his master. The other disciples ignored it, but Jesus knew it. He let him do it so that what was written would be fulfilled. The Eternal used the infidelity of a heart so that everything that had been prophesied about him would come to pass in his Son. Pray, disciples of the third era, so that among you a traitor will not rise up who will change my truth for the vanities of the world and say hypocritically like Judas, Master, by chance will it be me? My peace be with you.